How's it going, my fellow snail surfers? It's your missile guy back with another installment of my Askeer missile series. Today we're diving into lesser known Fox-2 missiles, those that either never reach full-scale production or simply don't get much attention in aviation circles. If you enjoy this content, make sure to drop a comment below with missiles you would like to see in the future. I do my best to read every single one, and I do try to respond to every single one. As usual, I'll be covering missiles that either remained on the drawing board or were retired too quickly for us to truly appreciate their potential. By definition of obscure here simply means missiles that don't get much attention in the community. I'm a strong advocate for missile variety. In War Thunder, I believe we should have access to all missile types that our aircraft are historically capable of carrying, including and not limited to obscure prototypes like these. Such additions would significantly enhance the base gameplay and enable unique events to happen within the game. As always, everything will be timestamped below for your convenience. Let's jump right into our first missile. In 1969, the U.S. Air Force announced plans to develop an entirely new, short-range air-to-air missile for the F-15 Eagle, which was then in development at the time. The project received the designation Z-AIM-82 before official naming. The AIM-82 requirements called for an all-aspect fire-and-forget missile intended to replace older AIM-9 Sidewinders. It would have been one of the first thrust-vectoring infrared missiles planned for the U.S. In February and April 1970, contracts were awarded to General Dynamics and Hughes. Each company submitted proposals in July of 1970. But by September of that year, the AIM-82 project was cancelled. The Navy had already begun on the AIM-95 program, for a new short-range AAM specifically designed for the F-14 Tomcat. The AIM-82 was considered unnecessary since having two parallel programs with similar goals was redundant. The decision was made to proceed only with the AIM-95, which was then planned for use by both Air Force and Navy aircrafts. While no official design specifications exist for the AIM-82 Agile, as it was cancelled before specifications were finalized, it was intended to be a thrust-vectoring high-off-board sight missile with an early form of IRCCM. Unlike the suspension-based approach of the AIM-9M, it would have features advanced tracking modes, including spatial filtering and spectral filtering. While the AIM-82 never had any official specifications, the AIM-95 did. We can infer the potential capabilities of the AIM-82. On screen, you'll see the AIM-95 design specifications. Although I initially planned to cover the AIM-95 separately, these two missiles are incredibly similar with nearly identical goals, only differing mainly in their intended aircraft. For this reason, I've decided to discuss other missiles instead, which I'm sure you'll understand. Next up is the R-4T. The R-4T is a Russian long-range guided air-to-air missile that would later be supplemented by the more capable R-40. The R-4 was a conventional Cold War era design, featuring sizable delta wings with 4 distinct tail fins. This missile came in 2 guidance variants, semi-active radar homing and infrared homing. Both were only capable of lock-on before launch. If you're familiar with Soviet doctrine, you'll know they typically fired both SAR and IR missiles together due to their missile unreliability. This approach maximized hit probability. If one failed, the other might succeed. This is why many Russian IR missiles from this period have radar counterparts. The R-4 was typically armed on the Tupolev Tu-128, as shown in the accompanying photo. On screen, I will have design specifications listed. It had a top speed of approximately Mach 1.6, with a length of 5.2 meters for the IR variant and 5.45 meters for the radar variant. It had a diameter of approximately 12.2 inches, a maximum range of 2 to 15 kilometers for the IR variant and 2 to 25 kilometers for the radar variant, and it had a 53 kilogram or 116 pound warhead. As mentioned, the R-4T was quickly replaced by the R-40 missile, which we currently have in game on the MiG-25 Foxbat. The R-40 would later be replaced by the R-33 on the MiG-31 much further down the line. Beyond what I've given here, there really isn't much more information on this missile, unfortunately. However, I'm sure Gaijin could very well cook something up. I think the MiG-25 should receive it. Personally, I think it should be like an early missile that you unlock on the tree in between the R-40s. It would just be kind of cool to have it on there, to be honest. For our final missile today, we have something rather special that might honestly confuse some people and make you tilt your heads. The R-77T. The R-77T is one of the lesser known variants of the R-77 missile family. Given the R-77's role as an active radar missile, having an IR variant might seem pointless to some. This variant follows Russia's standard practice of developing both radar and IR variants to ensure multiple seeker types are available. The IR seeker provides an alternative guidance approach. Honestly, I rarely see this missile discussed, and finding information about it was quite challenging, hence its inclusion in my obscure missile series. The R-77 program suffered numerous issues, described as severely protracted development, which likely explains why the R-77T never achieved widespread recognition or deployment. While the R-77T specifications are extremely scarce in available sources, we can infer capabilities based on the standard R-77, as it is just an R-77 with an IR seeker. On screen, I'll have its technical specifications, guidance, infrared homing. Airframe is based on the original R-77, not the upgraded R-77-1. This model includes the distinctive grid fins we know from the Adder series of missiles. Range, likely similar to the R-77 in-game, though probably reduced due to IR seekers' limitations and dependence on weather conditions, clouds, heat signatures, etc. For IR seeker capabilities, while I have no concrete information, based on the time frame of this missile's development, I suspect it would feature FOV gating similar to the R-27ET and R-73. FOV gating is a type of IRCCM that narrows the seeker's view to an extremely small point on the target aircraft, helping it ignore flares and maintain tracking at all times. For G-pole, assuming similar capabilities to the standard R-77, approximately 50 Gs. Now, I don't have anything else on this missile. As said, there really isn't anything about it. Even on the War Thunder forums, I can only find one thing about it. It's rough. The missile does exist out there. It is mentioned in Russian doctrine, and it is mentioned as being an officially created missile under the Russians. So, what are my final thoughts on these missiles? Should we see them in game? Personally, I absolutely think so. As I've mentioned before in other videos and earlier in the video, I believe we should have much more missile variety on our aircrafts, including potential experimental and obscure missiles. Having variety would significantly increase aircraft replayability. It would provide options so we're not stuck running the same missiles repeatedly, which can become very repetitive and annoying. It would also potentially make the grind less painful by offering different missile types for various aircrafts. While I understand that modeling mini missiles isn't an easy task, Gaijin has already done significant work in this area. I believe it would be fantastic to see an expansion of the missile inventory with these lesser known options. That said, everyone has their own opinion. Let me know in the comments below whether you think Gaijin should pursue this approach or stick with their current system. Alrighty, my fellow snow sufferers, that's all for today. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to leave a comment and consider suggesting a missile you'd like me to cover in the future. It could be anything, Fox 1, 2, or 3, just make sure I haven't already covered it in a previous video. I'm also considering creating supercuts of my missile videos, which would be slightly updated and fixed longer videos, combining previous content into one comprehensive video. This could serve as background audio, or simply if you just want to hear extensive missile discussion from one guy for an extended period of time. If you're interested in something like that, let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and consider subscribing, as we're slowly but surely growing towards 3,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. This was The Missile Guy, and I'll see you all in the next video.